In the Pokémon board game, players train their own low-level Pokémon by fighting wild or other players' Pokémon. Chance cards can give you an edge, or put you at a disadvantage. Some might even send you to a dark cave. In the end, the all-player gym fight will decide who will become the ultimate gym master. In the game, you can play using a Pokémon that represents one of 4 elements: fire, water, grass, and electricity. This element choice will dictate, during fights, how much damage you do and take depending on the pairing of elements. For example, fire is weak against water, strong against grass, and neutral against electricity. When fighting wild Pokémon, the fights are simple. The player initiates the fight and, taking into account the element advantages or disadvantages, does a certain amount of damage. The same process applies to the wild Pokémon. These fights can be easily represented using the provided board elements for wild Pokémon and player health. For a player versus player battle to be initiated, the players must cross paths. Fights between players have a little bit more depth to them than those of wild Pokémon. Instead of relying solely on the elements of disadvantages and advantages, you also take into account a 4-sided dice which will decide if your attack misses, hits, or does a critical hit. To add more dynamic to the gameplay, the game has chance cards. These can give the player advantages such as health pots, or disadvantages such as the go to the cave card. Every time the player lands on a pickup card tile, he must draw 1 card from the deck. In the caves, the player is handicapped. He will only fight neutral Pokémon and will have to roll the 4-sided dice as if fighting a player. The players can leave after spending 2 rounds in the cave, exiting at the cave exit. The leveling system determines how much health and attack your Pokémon has. To gain experience and level up, you need to fight wild Pokémon or players. The leveling system caps at level 4, at which point the players need to head to the gym. The first player to reach level 4 needs to start heading to the gym. Once there, his Pokémon gets healed to maximum health. He receives 5 cards, of which he has to choose 2 to keep, and he can no longer leave. All other players must start heading to the gym. As soon as a player reaches the gym, a player versus player battle is initiated. Any player that loses in the gym is out of the game. When only 1 player is standing, he is declared the ultimate gym master.
Ultimate Gym Master!